Well, a very good evening to you. We're just about to start week 8 of the slow Morse course, but it's almost 2 o'clock in the morning in San Francisco and 5 o'clock in the morning in New York. In London, 10 o'clock in the morning. In Paris, it's 11 o'clock in the morning. And in Moscow, it's 12 o'clock midday. Beijing, Hong Kong, and Singapore, it's almost 5 o'clock in the evening, 6 o'clock in Tokyo, and it's now 7 o'clock in the evening Sydney time, and that means it's 7 o'clock in the evening here in the eastern states of Australia and Tasmania. So welcome to week 8 of the slow Morse course. This is Nick, VK7 Whiskey Whiskey, with the club call sign Victor Kilo 7 Tango Alpha Zulu on behalf of the Northern Tasmanian Amateur Radio Club. Over the next 30 minutes we continue with the group of numbers that you learned last week, 6, 7, 8, 4 and 5. And we introduce pro signs and punctuation for you to learn next week. And when I'm talking about pro signs, I'm talking about beginning of transmission, end of transmission, the context separator, da-di-di-di-da, which we've already dealt with, is the letter Bravo and Tango conjoined, B and T, da-di-di-di-da, da-di-di-di-da. And there are a couple of others. So, SOS is actually a pro sign. It's not diddy-dit, da-da-da, diddy-dit. It's actually diddy-di-da-da-da, diddy-dit. Diddy-di-da-da-da, diddy-dit. Not that I suggest you send that on air. Right. And there are others. Now, remember, you can always practice your learning Morse code when you're sitting down taking a break from work, perhaps on a lunch break, and you see a street sign, a poster, the name of a shop. And you can quietly sing the characters to yourself in dits and dars, just do it in your head. And, of course, there are many apps which you can get on your smartphone that will send you CW, Morse code. Now, tonight, I also want to talk about abbreviations and the most common Q codes. And incidentally, they're very similar to the abbreviations that you use when you're texting on your phone and in your emails. But I have to say that the CW users use them first as abbreviations. So, the most common Q codes are as follows. Quebec Tango Hotel, QTH. That's your location. The QTH here is Lagana, Lima Echo Golf Alpha November, 15 kilometers north of Launceston in the northern part of the state of Tasmania. Here's another one. Quebec Romeo Mike, QRM. QRM is interference from other stations, radar, somebody too close together, a digital signal. That's QRM, Quebec Romeo Mike. However, Quebec Romeo November, another Q code, is to do with atmospherics, static, lightning crashes. I'm getting a lot of QR Nancy here, QR November, and it's causing troubles. Okay, here's another one, QRX. QRX1, wait a moment, please stand by. QSL, did you get my report? Please QSL, confirm. And QSY, Quebec Sierra Yankee, change frequency. Please QSY up the band, or down the band, 5 kcs. QRP is low power. I'm running QRP. QRO, high power. Quebec Romeo Oscar. QRS, please send slower. Morse code, Quebec Romeo Sierra. And another one, Quebec Romeo Victor, is ready now. Okay, so QTH, QRM, QRN, QRX, QSL, QSY, QRP, QRO, QRS, and QRV. Those are the most common codes in my experience. They might be different for you, so you might need to remove a few or add a few. Okay, are you now ready to copy some CW? You do have a spare pen and pencil ready, don't you? After all, it's very embarrassing when your pencil breaks when you're copying CW, and at this stage in learning CW, you should be writing it down. If you've learned to head copy, that is without writing it down, or at least you could copy a word and then write it down, you're doing exceptionally well. Okay, here we go. Now we're going to deal with the 5 number character groups using 6, 7, 8, 4 and 5, the numbers. In fact, they're the last set of numbers that we're learning, 6, 7, 8, 4, 5. I'll go through each one once, then each one 3 times, and then I will come back to you before we deal with the 8 groups of numbers. This is VK7 Tango Alpha Zulu on behalf of the Northern Tasmanian Amateur Radio Club, now switching to CW. Please stand by. Okay, I'm now going to send you 8 groups using those numbers, but they're going to be in random order. Please stand by. Here we go. Okay, back with you on voice. This is Nick, VK7 Whiskey Whiskey, with the club call sign VK7 Tango Alpha Zulu on behalf of the Northern Tasmanian Amateur Radio Club. And there were 8 groups of numbers, and they were as follows: 6, 7, 6, 8, 4. That was the first group, and then I used the context separator, da-da-da-da-da. Instead of using a full stop or comma, remember, you can use the context separator. 4, 5, 8, 8 was the next one. 4, 5, 8, 8. Again, the context separator. 6, 6, 8, 8, 7. 6, 6, 8, 8, 7. Followed by the next group. And I won't mention the context separator, but I used it in between them. 7, 4, 4, 7, 5. 7, 4, 4, 7, 5. And the last 4 groups, 8, 8, 6, 6, 7. 8, 8, 6, 6, 7. 4, 7, 5, 6, 8. 4, 7, 5, 6, 8. And the last 2 groups, 5, 4, 8, 8, 6. And the final group, 6, 7, 7, 8, 5. 6, 7, 7, 8, 5. Right. Now, with all the letters and numbers we've learnt so far, I'm going to send you some 8 groups, and then I'm going to send some plain text. Let's see how we go. VK7 Tango Alpha Zulu now switching to CW. Okay, back with you on voice. And what I sent in those 8 groups of letters and numbers, everything that we've learned so far was as follows. I for India, number 8, Sierra Uniform Mike. I for India, 8 is the number, Sierra Uniform Mike. The next group was Juliet Alpha Mike, number 4, T for Tango. Juliet Alpha Mike, number 4, Tango. The third group, number 6, Bravo India Tango Sierra. Number 6, Bravo India Tango Sierra. Next one, Oscar Foxtrot 73 Sierra. Oscar Foxtrot 73 Sierra. The fifth group, Echo Sierra Charlie Quebec number 2. Echo Sierra Charlie Quebec number 2. The next group was all numbers 48567. 48567. And the last two groups, Charlie Tango Sierra. Charlie Tango Sierra. And the last group, Uniform Romeo X-Ray Oscar Kilo. Uniform Romeo X-Ray Oscar Kilo. And in actual fact, there's bits of a hidden message in there. And I'll just read it to you. I ate some jam for tea. 6 bits of 73s. Echo Sierra is the abbreviation in Morse code for and. So 6 bits of 73s and CQ2 48567. And then CTCTS could be contacts, or, of course, it could be CT if it was conjoined, could be a pro sign, meaning start of transmission. But it wasn't in this case, it was just Charlie Tango Sierra, and the final group. You are exceptionally okay. Uniform Romeo X Oscar Kilo. Now, I'm going to send some plain CW. See how you go on this. Plain text as a message. Here we go. This is VK7 Tango Alpha Zulu switching to CW. Okay, back with you on voice, and what I sent in that plain text or typically what you might find in a contact was as follows. Uniform Romeo, UR, RST, readability, strength and tone, that's Romeo Sierra Tango 599, UR, RST 599. Then I send the context separator, da-da-di-di-da, the equals sign in CW, and then I said my QTH is Lagana. My QTH is Lagana, Lima Echo Golf Alpha November Alpha, Echo Sierra, and the operator, Oscar Papa, Nick, November India Charlie, Nick, November India Charlie. I sent it twice. Whiskey India Delta, an abbreviation for with, 60W, 60 watts, 60 watts. Echo Sierra again, an abbreviation for and, 80 meter, 80M for Mike, 80M dipole. Context separator, da-da-di-di-da, and then I sent 7 threes, which is best wishes in Morse code, Charlie uniform, see you, Alpha Golf November, see you again, SK, sign clear. So the whole message was, you are 599, context separator, my QTH is Lagana, and operator Nick with 60 watts and an 80 meter dipole. 7 threes, see you again, sign clear. And of course I did have a context separator between 80 meter dipole and 7 threes, see you again. So there we are. Now, next week we are going to be dealing with abbreviations, prosigns and punctuation. 2 letters conjoined together are a prosign, like Charlie Tango. Da-di-da-di-da, da-di-da-di-da. So da-di-da-di-da is the start of transmission. Di-da-di-da-dit, Alpha Romeo, AR, is the end of transmission. And Bravo Tango, the equal sign, you already know that one, da-da-di-di-da. Alpha Sierra, I've not heard that very much, but I did hear it the other day, it means wait. It's not QRX, it means wait, just stop a minute. Alpha Sierra. It means I've just spilled my coffee, or the dog needs to go out, there's been a disaster here, just hang on a minute until I mop it all up. And then of course there is the error sign, which we've mentioned before when you make an error. Some people don't bother, they just go back to the word they make a mistake on and send it again. But the error is 8 dits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, N. Dit, 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 dit. And then we're also going to be dealing with the comma, the full stop, or period, the forward slash, and the question mark. Okay. And this will be the last week for learning the code, but there will be another week to come to talk about other aspects of Morse code, how to hold a Morse key, making a transition from writing to head work, and you are allowed a cheat sheet to assist with your first contacts. And then we'll be talking about your first do-it-yourself homebrew CW transmitter, the GQRP Club, and Sprat magazine. Now, before I go through those things very quickly, I would like to make special mention of James in Ararat, because James in Ararat has been following this course from the start of the course. It's now week 8, and he has had the courage to have his first CW contact on air. Congratulations, James. It takes strength of character, confidence and determination to use CW, And I think anybody who's followed this course so far deserves a pat on the back for having got this far. So well done. It's confidence to have that first contact as well. Right, let's go through what I'm going to be sending next week. CT, AR, BT, AS, SK, error, comma, period, /. In fact, I'm not going to bother with the pro signs at this stage. I'm more concerned about the actual comma and the full stop, the / and the question mark. This is what they sound like in turn. Here we go, switching to CW. Okay, that's what we're looking forward to next week, particularly the punctuation. Wonderful. Don't forget the resources. The Wireless Institute of Australia and their automatic station sending out CW 24 hours a day on 80 meters, 3.699. Don't forget the ARRL, the RSGB, also have resources. And Tuesday nights here in Australia, the slow Morse on 40 meters run by VK2 Kilo India, and you can find his email on qrz.com. And of course there's the slow Morse course, thankfully streamed on Discord and also from the stream through YouTube from Jordan, VK3 Alpha Charlie Uniform. And a very warm thank you for your efforts in assisting with this Morse training. This is VK7 Whiskey with the club call sign of VK7 Tango Alpha Zulu. On behalf of the Northern Tasmanian Amateur Radio Club, now closing this session, and look forward to catching up with you same time, same place next week. We've only got 2 more weeks to go, and then things change on this frequency. All the best for now. VK7 Whiskey wishing you 7 threes and his QSY down to 3567 for the technical net.